Smash Ultimate has been out for 6 years and it seems like it's here to stay for a bit longer, at least 2 more years before we get it on Switch 2. And if you want to get into competitive Smash and go to tournaments, I think there are certain characters you should keep in mind. I'm just going to give you a good idea of where to look if you're trying to pick up a tournament character and what to expect when you play them. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to like and subscribe. We're going to be doing videos all week, so make sure to watch out for that. But let's jump into this. First category of character is the best meta characters in the game that will always be relevant no matter how the meta shifts, and we have Steve to start off. Steve is the best character in the game, and there are many videos and reasons I could say to explain why, but I'm just gonna say he's extremely powerful. He has some of the best moves in the game, extremely strong pressure. He can make platforms, he can camp as much as he wants, he can flank as much as he wants, he can kill you from zero. He is incredible. He is very overtuned and a ton of people hate this character, but if you want to win, this is the character for you. He has a ton of results, a ton of players playing him, and he is the most common character you'll run into. Even if you're not playing Steve, learning how to fight Steve is your #1 priority if you're going to get into Smash Ultimate, because you will not avoid him unless you go to a Steve ban tournament, which there aren't that many, especially nowadays. Next we have Rob, and depending on the Rob main, you're probably going to hear that he has a lot of bad matchups, but it just doesn't matter. He is so polarizing. He has 0 to deaths, like every good character apparently has. He has extremely broken moves in Nair that's super safe, that combos into everything, down tilt that's super plus and does a ton of damage and leads to a ton of combos. He has extremely good projectiles, some of the best edge guarding in the game, lives a long time, kills quite early. There's nothing that Rob is really struggling with other than the fact that he gets comboed sometimes, and that can be quite annoying for some people, but if you like the power and versatility of Rob, you should give him a try. Yes, he might seem to have matchups that can be quite annoying, but just knowing that you can always come back from any matchup just because your character is that good can be very valuable for some people, and I think Rob is the perfect antithesis of that. Yeah, you're going to be in disadvantage for a while, but don't get hit by Nair because you probably are going to die. Another character that is very commonly played, we have Snake. Snake is extremely powerful as well, with very weird rules. There's a lot of stuff you gotta pay attention when you fight a Snake player, because if you don't, you're gonna die very early. He has up tilt that kills very early, especially with how long he lives, because he's gonna have rage. He has grenade that is a frame 1 combo escape that can make strings very annoying to go for, which beats entire characters. He has Nikita, which is the best edge guarding tool in the game, making it super free with no risk, and you kill people really early. He is very weird when it comes to playing Smash Ultimate, because he technically controls the pace from the beginning of the game and doesn't really have that many bad matchups. He has 2 weird matchups in Mega Man and Inkling, which are characters no one really plays, so you're not going to run into them into bracket. And if you do, you always do have your X factor of just being a heavy character that kills early, and Snake is super good at doing that, killing early and living a long time. He is really good at getting extra credit, and by that I mean just getting extra percent when you take a stock, because grenades just add up and you can just keep throwing them over and over and over again. If you want to control the pace from the beginning of the game and just make your opponent play your game, there's no character better at it than Snake. Next up is the fundamentals that matter category. These are easy to learn characters, but hard to master characters. Characters that will probably make you go from an 0 tier to 2 tier once you basically understand them, but will make it hard to break into that next wall. We're going to start off with Falco. Falco is very easy. One of the characters that are seen as probably the most toxic when it comes to beginner Smash Ultimate, because he has a long combos that are easy to do from really broken combo starters. Up tilt is fantastic. If they're above you, in front of you, breathing next to you, landing on you, running at you, just use up tilt. It's so good at that. It leads to your kill confirm, it leads to all of your broken combos, it leads to drag downs. It's fantastic. But even then, if you don't get the up tilt, do fair. Fair is also really good, leads to a ton of combos and lasts super long. His grab also leads to those same combos. With so many ways to combo start, Falco can be very easy for people to learn and pick up. The problem then starts when people start avoiding your combos and realize that your character is light, can get edge guarded, and is a bit slow. So there are certain weaknesses that are going to add up when you fight people who are smart enough to like practice against Falco and not get hit by this stuff. But hey, you're gonna get to 2-2 really fast if you just sit in training mode and do his combos for a little bit, because it just adds up so easily. You do up tilt, upper, 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 back air, get them to 80, do up tilt, back air, that's a stock. Oh, they go off stage and miss their jump by a little bit, forward air them out, they're dead. Oh, they have an upbeat that takes a little bit of time or is easy to spike, or even if it's not easy to spike, you can still go for it. You have one of the best jump down airs in the game. His jump height's super good, he has ways to camp, he is very easy to learn. But again, once you fight people who know how to fight him, it can be a bit tough to really get in on some types of neutral, and footsies can be a bit weird for him, so keep that in mind. Despite what some people may tell you, Pyra/Mythra is easily the best sword and definitely one of the easiest characters in the game. Yes, they do have a recovery that can be gimped if you just don't think and then get your jump took and then just upbeat right into somebody. Yeah, you're gonna die, but they have such a broken neutral with extremely safe options, both of them. Mythra is known as the fast, safe one that can start combos for free and doesn't really kill, and Pyra rather is the one with really big moves that kill extraordinarily early. Switching between them is the thing that's going to be the tough part to master though, because I've seen some Pyra/Mythra stay on Pyra too long trying to kill instead of just going Mythra against certain characters, or some Mythras not know how to kill so they just let them live to 180. It can be a struggle when you're trying to fight good people because everyone's going to fight Pyra/Mythra, so they might know how to get around the tricks. But once you do learn how to get in on certain people with both of the characters and mastering them both, because playing two characters can be a bit taxing, this character rewards it. It's insane how much this character can do against everyone in the game for free and get away with so much, because Mythra has foresight and Pyra has some of the safest, strongest moves in the game. So I gave you a brawler type and I gave you a sword type, and my choice for projectile type, that's the easiest to learn, that's the hardest to master, is Samus. Samus is really annoying for people online. If you fought a Samus, you get it. They spam charge shot, they run away from you, they forward air your jumps, they set up from combos from it. This character is very obnoxious, but they are really important when it comes to trying to understand conditioning. When you're trying to get your opponent to do something that you want them to do while also being very safe, Samus has been that kind of character for many, many years in multiple Smash games, and this game is no different. If you want a character who controls the pace but is a little more proactive than Snake can be and has more normal Smash things that you'll see in other Smash games, then Samus is your character. There is a bit of a problem when it comes to your matchup spread though, because she doesn't have the best matchup spread. Like, I still think she beats Kazuya and goes even with Rob, but does lose to characters like Falco. Like, Olimar can be really tough if you run into one, can be a struggle against Steve, can be a struggle against Game & Watch, but she still is very good at the beginning level and beats a ton of the mid to low tiers really, really hard. These characters in this next category are characters with very comfortable brackets, but they are very hard to play. They do have a lot of execution when it comes to fighting people, so you're not going to get carried and sleep through those types of brackets, but you don't have to worry about their matchup spreads because they can always do it against every character in the game. First up is Joker. Joker mostly is known for his difficulty because base Joker doesn't really have gigantic moves, but he is very fast and very hard to hit if you learn to hone in on that. F-tilt is very good, and he has gun to keep people from jumping constantly. He has setups galore, his combos are very, very good, and again, he's fast, so he can always try to get away from people and play with punish while also getting in very well. As long as you're willing to learn the combos and learn the routes that you can get a lot of damage, he won't be that tough. But even on top of that, he has Arsene when he turns into basically a god. His moves get bigger, his moves get more damaging, his advantage state turns from, oh, I'm a character who has to work hard, to killing you at 30 because they got a down air at like 45. They can kill you with down air up smash. It's nuts. This character is so disgusting, but at the same time, you'll probably have to learn a lot when it comes to playing without him, because a lot of times you're going to be fighting people who know how to combo you, and Arsene goes away real fast if they do a lot of damage to you. Again, he is high execution, but he's so worth it. He can do it against every character in the game, and his worst matchups really aren't that hard. Like, he has to fight, I think Sonic's one of his worst matchups, but even then, because Sonic's pace is a bit slow, he can get his Arsene back and always make it back from him, and Sonic's not a very common character, so I do think Joker has a lot of worth there. Next up, we have Pikachu, kind of a slept on character for many years, because without people playing this character because of its difficulty, it can be strange to find what makes Pikachu so good, and then you realize that any struggle matchup he might seem to have, he can just camp harder than they can camp him. He's so difficult to hit with one of the best moves in the game in T-Jolt, making it so he can always camp you out and approach with very, I think, relative ease to everyone else. Yes, he is a bit light, so he dies early if you mess up, because the execution part is still a big factor here, but he always can camp someone out if he doesn't want to fight them, and if he does want to fight them, he can cobble them to death with insane 0 to death stuff. Even if he doesn't get 0 to death stuff, he can do a ton of damage with his drag downs, and his edge guarding is some of the best in the game. Again, he's a bit difficult, so if you want to run into somebody who's a little easier, this won't be your pick. But with Pikachu being so polarizing and rare, this is a sneak pick that you can surprise a lot of people with. Just focusing on edge guarding characters and learning how to avoid their biggest damaging moves will make Pikachu seem a lot more broken than he might seem at first. And I love watching and playing Pikachu, so I hope that we get more Pikachus out there. Finally, for this category, we have Sonic. Known as the poster child of having a broken matchup spread, there is probably not a matchup that Sonic straight up loses in the most traditional sense, because he can always camp them out better than them. He can destroy them in advantage. He has extreme damage for a character like himself. He can always get there and chase somebody. Sonic just has it all, except he's a little stubby, and being a little stubby means he has to be close to his opponent to hit them. Yes, if they have to chase him around the whole time, it can be pretty easy, especially destroying some characters who are even the smallest bit slow, who can't chase him. And if you're fast, he still can combo you to death. It's nuts because he doesn't really have a 0 to death, but there's certain exchanges where it's like he throws you off stage, charges an F smash, and kills you at 70, and that's just how Sonic is. It feels like the Sonic players aren't really common. Like, you still do hear about them, but when you run into that good Sonic player, he can be the most obnoxious thing to ruin your day. Playing him is a bit weird because he has all of these options. You have to figure out what you can do in order to beat your opponent. But again, high execution is what you got to expect if you want to have some of the best matchup spreads in the game. The next category we have is Specialists That Matter. These are the weird characters who are a bit awkward to learn at first, but are broken, and do not get that twisted. We have Min Min. This character is nuts, with some of the best ledge trapping and edge guarding in the game, with an absurd neutral, which makes it really tough to get in on her. She's weird. She makes you have to press A and B to use both of her arms. She really only has 3 moves at the beginning of the game, and it feels weird to say that, oh, this character is in Smash Brothers, because this is such a polarizing character. But if you learn her, you're going to be the most hated player in the venue, like, every single time. No one wants to run into a good Min Min. Good Min Mins are so mentally taxing because every time you get hit, you could die. They make it so tough to have your game be played because she just controls the pace of it so well. She does have a little bit of a struggle when it comes to her disadvantage, because certain characters, I mean, just destroy her off stage. Like, she gets thrown off stage, she has to tether, she gets nared, and she dies at 30. Sometimes that will happen versus some characters, but a lot of characters just lose at the character select screen, and she's so worth it if you're willing to learn. If there's a character who is hard to learn and hard to master, Peach is probably the poster child of that character. Very weird mechanics when it comes to her float, because she makes it so her aerials are extremely strong and makes her movement super hard to pin down. She can be very difficult to hit once you fight a good Peach player and learn her movement. But if you don't know her movement, she seems very weak, so she can be very polarizing in that sense. I do think she's worth it though, because of course everyone points to her crazy combos, which are nuts. They are nuts, but they are very situational. If you don't get the right hit or the right DI, you're probably not going to get the 0 to death you want. But even on top of that, she's extremely hard to hit, has a really consistent projectile when it comes to turn up, and has some very broken moves. Keep in mind, with her aerials being super strong all the time because of the float mechanic, she can pressure shield for free, like really free. But I don't think people know how she works a lot of the time, because they look at how Mutace plays and see how much work he seems to be putting in over everyone else who's just spamming aerials, who's using really easy to understand tools. But I do think Peach is super cool, so if you're willing to put in the work to learn a character who I think is worth it, Peach is here. And finally, a character that might be weird for me to put here for people who used to play Smash 4 but don't really know about how she is in Ultimate, we have Bayonetta. Bayonetta destroyed Smash 4. She was extraordinarily broken in Smash 4, and they had to make sure that she wasn't as broken. And they kind of succeeded. She isn't as broken as Smash 4, but she is still nuts. She still has a lot of stuff that made her broken in Smash 4, like her insane damage being like absurd to deal with, which time being really obnoxious. She still does 0 to death sometimes, but it's a lot more work. She is a lot more work and a lot more awkward than she was in Smash 4, and I wouldn't say less rewarding, but definitely less polarizing. She still is very strong though. I still think she has some of the best burst options in the game in terms of side B. She does have gigantic moves, really good edge guarding. Like, there's a lot of stuff to like about Bayonetta. When you fight a Bayonetta though, it feels like, man, you're fighting someone who's really hard to approach, but can approach at a moment's notice. There's always somewhere that she can hit you and chase you and then do 80 or kill you. And I think that's something you should watch out for if you're curious about playing Bayonetta again. If you used to play her in Smash 4, she won't be as good, but she will be very good. So I think you should give her a try. Now we're going to talk about the bracket characters that I would describe as the Bowser spaces. Characters you never want to run into in bracket because they're just that scary or just that polarizing. And first, we're going to be talking about Kazuya. Kazuya is known for his extreme damage and his 0 to death combos. He can probably hit you with any part of his kit and kill you from it. This character is nuts. If you want to learn a character like that who can destroy you at a moment's notice, Kazuya is your guy. He honestly is a bit awkward at first because his jump squat is the only one in the game that's 7 frames, so I think it's the slowest jump in the game, but even still, it's worth it. He probably destroys the most characters in the game, probably the most, like, I think he's a lot of characters' worst matchups. Even just, if you want to beat a brawler type character, this character is your guy. He honestly even destroys some sword type characters. He's really good against those two types. Projectiles can be pretty annoying for him, even though he does have a reflector. They do determine the match pace very well against him. But again, if you want to beat someone up at 0, Kazuya is your guy. Known as the round 1 killer or the Fool's killer, we have Luigi. No one wants to fight a Luigi early in bracket because he's so scary. He, again, like Kazuya, has a ton of 0 to death combos from any extension he has, but even past that, he has some interesting tools. His zoning is actually very good with his plunger. He can stop a lot of attacks coming at him, and he has down B, which is a frame 1 escape option to get out of strings and make it so comboing him isn't that easy either. For a while, he was seen as a mid-tier character, but I think the Luigi players just got so good at abusing his strengths, like getting the kills they needed to, going for the confident up Bs, that he became really nuts. And I'm very excited to say that of the Mario Brothers, that this is the one that you're probably going to find to be scarier. As much as I love playing Mario, I think Mario is a bit more fair than Luigi, but you know, if you want to play a character like Luigi who can, or you want to play a character like Kazuya with more freedom and more movement, I think Luigi's the type of character you want. I still think Kazuya is better, but there is an argument people are making to say Luigi is better, which is so funny. How much Luigi has improved over the game's course of life. I feel like he's like top 3 most improved characters over the course of the game, even though he didn't get any buffs. He just got better players who just show what you can do with them. Another character who has improved a lot through the course of the game, we have Hero. Hero was considered for banship a bit ago because of the language barrier being weird, because if you go to Japan, he has to be in Japanese, and if you don't know Japanese, his menu can be really annoying. But that of course didn't happen, and Hero is still really, really good. He has Side B, which is one of the best moves in the game, having a giant thunderbolt that destroys people. He has his spells that can do a ton of different things, buffing him, killing really early, putting people to sleep, turning really big. But even past that, his normal moves can be very good. His up B has turned out to be a very strong out of shield option. He can be very fast with Accelerado and do combos from it because of that. It's nuts. He's really improved. And I think Hero can be very fun if you want to just troll your opponent or just kill him really early. He's really funny in tournament. Well, for you. I think if you're fighting against it, no one really wants to face a hero. It's scary to fight a hero because it feels like no matter how much you're in the lead, he gets that right hit or gets that whack or gets that snooze, you could die at 20 or even like 0. But that being said, you're not going to be able to get that all the time, and he still does have struggle matchups that are very common characters. Like Rob being his worst matchup is very scary because you have to fight Robs all the time. But I still think if you are excited to just troll people, Hero is your guy. But yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. This was a very long one, but I think it was needed to try to get more people to try to play some Smash Ultimate. So if you're curious about more characters or want to see more Smash Ultimate content, make sure to subscribe. I'm going to be talking about lots of different characters and give you lots of tips so you can have a better and smoother tournament experience. But have a good day.